Well, I started composing music. Well, I started arranging music first, I guess, when I was in grade 6 or 7. I would think I was 11 at the time, and basically I started out by there were some like mainly pop songs that I liked, and so I made some arrangements of those. And fortunately, I guess those have been lost to history. In terms of actual composing, I sort of dabbled with it for a long time, but I didn't really finish anything until I believe spring of 2016. There's other things I've composed. I've composed like I guess a bit of a range of things. I've composed everything from like string quartets to I even finished an opera once. In terms of the pieces that I'll be performing tonight, first of all, there's a composition that I wrote called Serenade. It was originally for orchestra, but then I arranged it myself for concert band. And the second piece is an arrangement that I made of Dmitri Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony, the Leningrad Symphony.
My name is Chen, and I am a grade 11 student here at Bayview Secondary. So ever since I was in grade 9, I was a big part of the music department, right? I've been in band, I do strings, I'm in choir as well. But when the student composition night happened this year, I was very excited because I also compose in my spare time. And so for the student composition night, I'll be participating, I think, in 7 of the ensembles. And so, including one of my own compositions, which I'll be playing on solo piano, as well as I'll be conducting an arrangement of some Nintendo pieces from the Zelda ensemble. When I was in grade 8, I completed a piece called Valse d'un Enfant, which was performed by the Sneak Peek Orchestra in 2014, and I recently completed an orchestral piece called Fields of Sun, which has been read by the Etobicoke Philharmonic. And that happened just a couple of weeks ago.
I'm Ness, but my legal name is Inez. But ever since grade 10, I've changed my name to Ness, since there's also another girl in the grade called Ines, and I kind of like the distinction between the two of us. It's also been the butt of too many yes rhymes with Ness jokes throughout this semester, but that's okay. As for music, I've been pretty involved with music, not just throughout high school, but all my life. In elementary, I was in around 4 ensembles, I think. I was in the string quartet, the ACPS, actually, that was the name of the school, string ensemble, the ACPS quartet, and the ACPS full orchestra. And then come Bayview, I was always in band, starting with grade 9, and then I recently joined up with the Zelda ensemble, starting in grade 10. Grade 11, I joined, of course, grade 11 band, as well as the grade 12 band. I've been having a great time managing strings and helping to conduct and play the cello along with everyone else in the ensemble. I would not say that I have had many notable compositions, since I only started composing after grade 11, really, and mainly I work with arrangements. So one of the most notable arrangements I've done, it was actually the Harry Potter medley at the past spring showcase for string ensemble. And what I'm actually performing in around 5 ensembles, I think, at composition night. So one of them is I will be conducting the movie medley for the Zelda ensemble, which again I arranged, and then I'll be performing a duet named Ostendo, which is derived from Latin roots, which means to show. Basically, it's a showmanship piece for violin and cello. Since I find that Bayview, since we do not have a strings program, it's an opportunity for people to perhaps learn a bit more about string instruments and the full capabilities of performers who can play really well on these instruments.
Hey, my name is Joseph, and I'm writing a piece for composition night called Butterfly Wings, and it's a piece for choir. And I was in Bayview band 2 years ago, and not anymore because of time conflicts. I guess I've been composing ever since I played the violin, because I don't know, I get to mess around and see what music I can make. But I guess I created music seriously in starting about 4 or 5 years ago. I started putting it down on paper and having it try to be a full piece instead of snippets. So it's kind of been an interesting process through getting to today. I wrote a piece for concert band in grade 8, and I had it played at my school, so that was pretty cool.
so I started composing when I was 4. And how long is that? I have to do math. I'll be playing Endless Ends on piano tonight at composition night.
So, my name is Zaidman. I'm a grade 10 student at Bayview. I play clarinet in the symphonic band and occasionally just sit in on the other ensembles. I've been arranging since late grade 8, I suppose, but this is really my first original composition.
Well, my name is Joseph Lee. I'm a grade 10 student at Bayview. I've done music at Bayview since grade 9, so ever since I started Bayview, I've been in the music program. What I'll be doing for student composition night is my Minuet and Trio in G major, which is part of my incomplete piano sonata, which I'm somewhat proud of, but it's pretty old work. I've done a lot of compositions, but a lot of them are currently unfinished. But I've worked on a variety of pieces like piano concertos or string quartets, lots of other piano works.
My name is Beatrice and I sing soprano in choir. I'm not actually in band, but I really like the music department, and for student composition night I will be performing a song that I wrote called Summer Bird, and it's kind of a jazzy tune and I'm really excited. So basically I wrote an a cappella piece a while back, and I had the chance to perform it with Cadence, which was really awesome. And yeah, it's really cool having an actual like a cappella group singing your song, and it's like super exciting, and you kind of just sit there like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening.
Yeah, it was really just like finding melodies that I found were catchy or that I thought was cool. And then afterwards it was just creating harmonies that kind of sounded good with it and getting other people to play them and having some fun making music, and then just expanding to bigger groups of people, I guess.
So my interest in composing actually, it started in grade 11 when we had our creative response assignment in English class, and I based my first composition off of Clarice Lispector's short story called The Chicken, and I also drew inspiration from Camille Saint-Saëns's Carnaval des Animaux from the movement Poules et Coqs. So drawing inspiration from both of these, actually I was able to create my first my first actual composition for a full chamber ensemble, rather than perhaps some short piano pieces that I did compose for my sister when I was 12.
I'm not exactly sure how I began, but I think at first I was maybe 6, 7 years old. I was fiddling at the piano, and I sort of invented my own little melodies, and I think that was how I really got interested in composition. And as time passed on, those small ideas matured into larger, more serious works, and I have kept up that hobby and that interest ever since, and it's something that I really enjoy. So I've been doing it for about 10-ish years now, on and off.
I think there's a certain magic to performing music because of everything it encapsulates, so I thought it was a good way to show off what I'm thinking and to convey a message of my own, and that sort of interested me. I was listening to the compositions of some of the other students here, and I thought that was amazing. So I decided I should try it myself.
Well, I first started actually composing pieces in grade 9, so it was pretty recent, but I've done little pieces since I was little. What got me interested was actually listening to a lot of classical music, so I really got inspired by like composers such as Mozart or Haydn, etc.
I guess the most positive experience would be when you finish a piece and you get to listen to it like played live for the first time, because that's when your ideas get to be outside of your head for the first time, and you get to hear what it's like or how other musicians interpret them for the first time.
For positive experience, I'd say like meeting lots of new people who are also interested in composition, and like getting better at my instrument and getting better at writing music.
I don't think there is a feeling just like finishing a piece. It's quite, what's the word for it? It's really satisfying once you can say, oh, here's a piece that I made myself, and that's something that I find really special.
And as for negative sides, it's a really large time investment. Like 1 minute of music can take hours to compose, given the type of piece you're writing or how many instruments or how many people you're writing it for. But the challenge really is keeping the same feel or the same concept from when you first started the piece from when you finished the piece.
Well, first of all, creating a melody and harmony that sounds wholesome is really, really difficult. It's easy enough to come up with a string of notes that create a fun melody, but to tie that together with a group of instruments, with a theme, with an emotion, with rhythm, that's surprisingly difficult, especially if you're not used to it, because you will encounter roadblocks while composing, and I didn't understand that until I started.
One thing that I always find difficult is sort of getting started with a piece, because like a lot of times, like I want to like write something, but I either don't know what I want to write about, or even if I do know what I want to write about, I don't know how to start it or how to structure it or plan out the piece. And so as a result, like a lot of my pieces are really sort of free form and they just go wherever I want them to go. So
Well, I guess if you are composing for a piece that or are composing for instruments that you're not familiar with, it's interesting to try to write something for something you're not comfortable with. So if you don't have experience, say, with woodwinds, then you might have trouble figuring out what the range is or what's comfortable, what's easy to play given the fingerings.
I only play piano and guitar, and I have some like understanding in like violin, and I do vocals, but I was never really in band, so when trying to write parts for brass or other instruments for my songs, I would have a lot of difficulty just because I didn't like have a background in it. So I would say, I guess for some people it depends on the genre that you want to write.
Well, for me, I'd say really the process of actually working it out, because a lot of times I would really I would have no ideas, right, to continue the piece. Sometimes I'd run out of inspiration or motivation to actually finish that.
That's the point where you have to sit and think and challenge yourself a little to express the emotions that are coming into your composition.
Even worse, I finish a piece and then I go back. I'm like, this doesn't sound good, and then I start going over it and I redo everything, which I've actually done for my duet piece I'm performing. I actually redid this piece 5 times before I finally settled on something that I was satisfied with.
The process that it takes in order to get to there is often really demanding, really frustrating. I'm sure you guys know what writer's block is for, let's say, a piece of writing, right? The same thing applies for composers. It's a composer's block, right? And that's often really hard to get through, and I often have to scrap a lot of my ideas because I'm not able to progress with them. But once you're able to finish that, once you're able to muster through and have the strength to finish a piece, I think that's something really, really special that I don't think is rivaled in any other discipline.
For any musician, actually, composing music gives you a way to not only express yourself through something that you actually really enjoy doing, but a way to figure out new ways to do something creative that you would really enjoy, and something that gives you a really satisfying experience at the end.
one thing that I want to say to really everyone or anyone who's starting out composing is to just kind of accept that like your first piece is not going to make you the next Beethoven or the next Mozart. And just to accept that, like, don't be discouraged if you write something and it doesn't turn out the way that you thought it would turn out. Because everyone has to start from somewhere.
Write down everything. No matter what you do, just brainstorm and write down everything that you can think of, and then at the end cut it down to what you think would be better, rather than starting off and putting one note at a time and thinking, no, this doesn't work, because otherwise you're not going to get anything done.
Just write music. Like anything that comes into your head, even if it's not complete, even if you're going to scrap it, just put it down, because if you write enough music, some of them are going to turn out well, some of them are not going to turn out well. So you might as well make as many as you can and then focus on the ones that you like or the ones that turn out well. And the second piece of advice is to learn whatever instruments or however many instruments you can, because even just the basics of it gives you a feel for what the instrument is like, how it is easy or hard to play certain passages or certain note combinations. So even learning a little bit of how every instrument works, maybe brass, woodwinds if you're in band, violin, piano, double bass even, can give you a feel for what it's like to play it. So it makes it a lot easier to write for that piece, for the instrument, sorry.
The biggest challenge with composition is being able to perform it, especially if you want to compose something for a larger ensemble or something that's not maybe for a solo instrument, a duo or whatever. And so which is really why I am very glad for this opportunity here at the Student Composition Night for larger ensembles to be showcased, because that's not something that you really get an opportunity to do. And the performance opportunity in front of your peers, perhaps your family, that's something that's really special for a composer, I think. And that's one of the challenges we face, and this is a way to solve it, and I'm really glad it's here.
I guess Student Composition Night is an event where we really want to showcase musical creativity that Bayview has, because we see so much of that in the department, and I think it's really amazing that we have so many students that write and arrange their own music, and I think it should be celebrated and everyone should know about it, you know?
Working with other musicians to perform means that you have to all be on the same page in terms of emotionally what you want to hear, and in terms of rehearsal times and coordination and time and rhythm and all those things that go into any piece of music, but especially when it's your own and you understand it so well. I think it's challenging, but also because of the amount of dedicated musicians in the department, everyone's really invested in getting it to work. So it's been very much a positive experience for me.